let's say you're a loser who can't attract any women. I'm asking for a friend.
Thinking about talking about relationships because I've got this book here. I recommend it to you both, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
What's the book called? Because I got criticised for not asking you what book you were recommending.
Yeah, The King, Warrior, Magician, and the Lover. That's the name of the book.
Thank you.
The Rational Male.
And this is The Rational Male.
The Rational Male, yeah.
Tomasi. Can we get the ISBN number just for people that
you can find it easy enough just with the name.
Okay, good.
But
There we go.
It would take quite a long time to talk about the depth of the book. So I just want to ask a few questions and see what we do in this period of time.
What you gotta do.
Okay, so let's ask the first question. Okay, it's gonna be tricky. Do you think humans are? This might be a trick question. Do you think humans are either polygamous or monogamous?
Trick question. What? Is that the question?
That's the question. That's the first question.
Okay. The answer is they are both.
That's the right answer.
Okay. Yes.
That's it.
1 point.
Game over. Okay. No, it is the right answer. It is the right answer. The idea of one of the ideas this book covers is it talks about the differing sexual strategy between men and women.
Okay.
Because we actually have opposite sexual strategies.
Okay.
It's hypothesized like this: is the male sexual strategy in general is to try and spread his genes as much as he can in this way, and the female side is actually very interesting because it has a duality. Has two modes. One is to secure the best genes possible, the other is to secure the best provisioning possible. And those two are actually very rarely found in the same man. It's very, very interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
In that you have a man with, let's say, superior genetics, just say very athletic, very alpha, very strong, very dominant, and then he also wants to stick around and be a great provider for children. It is actually not that common an occurrence. So what happens, this is talking about evolutionary history here. We're talking about our entire history as a species, not the modern fucking world, wherever this is, right? So, although it's very much in effect, that's the point. So it's talking about this, is that there's a dualistic sexual strategy for a woman. Have you heard of the term cuckoldry, right?
What's the term?
Cuckoldry.
No.
Okay, you'll know what it is.
Okay.
It's the example is, for example, when a woman has children from another man, and then has a relationship with a new man, and that man enters that relationship with the obligation of looking after another man's children. It actually comes from something in nature. There's a bird. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's what it's from.
The cuckoo.
That puts its egg in another bird's nest.
That's right. And the other one raises it. Yep.
Okay.
So one of the ideas involved in this. So this book also addresses the effect of modern third wave radical feminism on society and many other aspects. So that was my first question already answered here. Is I want to ask you another question. So I don't want to make it obviously too personal because you don't want to necessarily answer personal questions, but we can talk in general. So do you think it's possible for a man to have multiple relations with multiple women and be moral? Or if you know what I mean, and do it honestly?
If the women all agree to it, then it's moral, I guess.
Okay.
It depends on the morality that is practiced in that society. There are many societies that have nothing against it. And how can you prove to those societies that they are wrong? For example, this time I'll actually defend Muslims. How do you prove to the Muslims that their way of practicing it, when the men can marry many women, is wrong?
Well, I know we could talk about social utility, about how it would function. How would it function in society?
Good point.
And what would be the advantages and disadvantages?
Exactly.
I mean, that's a clear way of talking.
Exactly. Social utility is what we'll be focusing on, and not morality, because social utility is what breeds morality.
It might be, yeah. Right.
It is. It's the environment you're inserted in, and how do you react to that to that environment. Sorry, and the way you organize the society facing those difficulties and resolving them is how you make up morality and how you make up the rules and the laws by which you abide. And I would argue that having one wife in our times should be potentially better but I will not say that with a lot of conviction, because that's not something I have researched a lot into it.
Okay, another question. Go
question. Go ahead.
Yep. What do you understand? I mean, I just want to get your personal view on, if I say two words, what comes to mind? Because there's a lot of things going on here.
Love it. Association test.
More or less, because there's...
Paranoid about coming across...
So wait, you're saying something, and the first thing we think about, we have to say...
No, just what do you understand if I say certain terms?
There we go.
Alpha and beta, in terms of males.
Okay.
Yin and Yang. That's what is the first thing.
Alpha is the top dog, the silverback in gorillas or whatever, and the beta is a male who is a soft touch, who'd be pushed around by an alpha male, and women like alpha males. This is what I understand people believe about this.
Okay, cool.
Basically, yeah.
All right, cool. So, from my understanding of it in human intersexual dynamics, alpha and beta are states of mind. They're states of mind that you can be inculcated with and also arrive at, which is very interesting because there's an ingrained view that the alpha and beta is something you're just born with. It's a false concept. These things occur in nature. You have alpha males in groups, but it's cycles. They get taken out, the new one rises, things like this. But when we're talking about human sexual dynamics, somebody can develop a so-called alpha mindset, and one of the central premises of that is independence, is self-reliance, is deliberately putting yourself into a position where you are not basing your life or your validation or values on other people. It's about manifesting it within yourself, if you understand what I mean.
And is the ultimate goal in this to become attractive to females, or will females just happen to also find that attractive because it's
a great point.
A good thing to be.
That's a good point, because sometimes people can follow certain strategies. It's actually part of, you heard of pickup artists.
Yeah.
Right, because pickup artistry is a technique. It's a technique that you can parrot, and it will work.
Alpha male.
You can feign it, absolutely. You can, and it will work. I guarantee it. But what happens is when you get into a position where you might...
We'll try it in a minute.
When you achieve that, if you achieve that goal, if you idolize some woman, you use a technique and you get her, everything falls apart because you haven't generated that from within yourself. It's a script. Okay. So this idea is that it's about outcome. That's it. Outcome.
She didn't like you for you.
Right. Basically. Outcome independence.
Wait. Now you're contradicting yourself. Oh, you said you're not born an alpha and a beta. It depends a lot from your state of mind, right? So shouldn't those tricks, those things that you learn to be a pickup artist, be part of that state of mind that you're talking about? So in that, if you see it like that, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I said that it might not be effective in the long term. It can achieve certain goals, but it doesn't actually create lasting change within your personality.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
So it's these ideas.
I see now.
So I don't know what you guys think about that kind of thing here, because you get a lot of vilification of certain behaviours and attitudes of men in society, and little criticism to the female aspects, because their sexual strategies are different.
Well, let's get a bit of advice then. Let's say you're a loser who can't attract any women. I'm asking for a friend. For example, should you adopt these...
good one.
There's a question in the comments.
Good one.
Same guy that thinks you're a racist. Should you...
That's a funny guy.
Should you buy the book from a pickup artist, start feigning these alpha male traits, and get the woman of your dreams who will like you for the caricature that you become? Or should you search for the woman who likes the beta male, who likes you for you?
You'll be searching for a long time.
Yeah, very long time.
No, but it's actually a good question. It's actually a good question, because I would say yes. If you can get into that situation, because in the process of following that pickup artistry path, you will be boosting your confidence, but you will fall. But the point of falling is so that you can recover, and when you recover, you rebuild. The part of it is breaking down the social barriers, so you're no longer scared. You build a bit more confidence. You start to see women's nature as not what you thought it was, and with that knowledge, if you accept it, you can actually transition. You can become stronger from that.
Transition.
Yeah.
As if you're changing,
No, but
sex.
It actually has a legitimate word use. So that's what I want to say to you. It's a good question. You could do that, and you might grow from it. Yeah.
You know,
Thanks,
I think I'll
feel better now.
I also will give an answer to my biggest fan, the guy who thinks I'm a racist.
He's out.
Come to Speaker's Corner. I'll speak to you, bro. So, don't feign that you're an alpha male. Become an alpha male.
Okay. Don't fake it.
The main thing about that is outcome independence. Is being. It means that you are willing to take risks and you accept the consequences. It is a difficult path, but it is the best path.
Exactly. You just need to cultivate in yourself the qualities of a sturdier person.
Right.
Look at these guys.
Yeah.
What are they saying?
They just went in front of the camera.
Classic.
There's a bunch of beta males there. Let's beat them up.
He looks, that guy over there kind of looks a bit who acts like alpha, but he's a bit insecure of himself. I don't know. I'm just
it's very easy to tell.
I'm just judging.
I know. But it's quite easy. It's quite interesting if you get into a social interaction, like in a pub or a party or a club or something, and you watch how people behave. Very interesting. Very interesting, especially, like has been often said, it's a bit of a cliche now, but when people say that the people most boisterous, the most shouting about their achievements, are usually the most insecure. But not the most insecure, but they are insecure.
That's what I said. But the more you bang your chest, the more insecure you are.
It's definitely a part of it. It's the people who are, when you
like this, showing off, show off.
Like I said to you before when we were talking up at the top there, before the camera, is that from my understanding of life, to gain strength, to gain real strength, you have to put yourself into really bad situations and overcome them. And usually life puts you in those situations, and the best way of handling it, one of the best ways, is stoicism, in that you accept the situation, you don't blame it on other people, even if it might be, you accept it from yourself, and you see what you can do to make progress. I'm making it sound easy, it's not. You're going to have a lot of emotions, you're going to be angry as fuck, but it's the only way. And once you've conquered some of those things, you're going to have a real sense of like strength and calm within yourself, so when bullshit happens in life, you can laugh at it.
It's hard to accept that the responsibility for your misery is within yourself.
Right, yeah.
It's very hard to accept that. But I think it's very important that people deny the victim, the victimhood, the victim mentality,
absolutely,
and rise up to the challenge and become better. That's what distinguishes. Again, it links to the conversation about the Untermensch and the Übermensch. The Übermensch, the alpha male, he will give his best. He might lose in the end, but he will try his best to rise up over the adversity. Now the Untermensch, he will just give up. He will just say, okay, that's it, I lose, end of story, without even actually trying to win properly. I think that's the main thing, to try to give your best.